Next up at UFC Vegas 93, we have Carli Judice taking on Gabriella Fernandes. Carli Judice only 3-1 in the entirety of her career. And you would say, oh, she must have been like a world-class kickboxer that toured the world and is 50-0 as a professional and then came over to MMA, and that's why her record is so insignificant. No, she's just 3-1 in MMA. And she's taking on Gabriella Fernandes, 8-3 in her career, 3-2 in her last 5. She is looking for her first UFC win. Carli Judice is a striker, though. She's got some decent combinations, some good volume. She does a good job mixing in punches and kicks, and then she'll alternate between the two very quickly. She sets a nice pace. She can move forward, throwing those combinations for an entire fight. She can be taken down, though. But she's got a solid get-up game where you take her down and you can have a hard time settling because she's always moving. She's always working her way back up. She is coming off a close decision loss on the Contender Series, which apparently was enough to get her a full UFC contract. She's taking on Gabriella Fernandes. Gabriella has had an unfortunate run in the UFC as well. But Gabriella is pretty good. She's a powerful striker. She's very big. She's strong. She is fast, and she is technical. She got solid striking and solid BJJ as well. It's the in-between that she lacks. Takedown defense is not great. It's mostly just her being bigger and stronger and less about her using the proper techniques. She does have solid BJJ. She can work well off of her back, almost too well, where she's just comfortable on her back trying to make stuff happen instead of creating scrambles, instead of creating space and trying to work her way back up to her feet. She'll play that BJJ game, and it has not worked out for her yet. She's coming off that loss to Teresa Bleda, where she gave up 3 takedowns. Gabriella is a decent favorite here. Not tremendous, but a big enough favorite that you would look at it and say, oh, she should win. And then you dump into the tape study, and you look around a little bit, and you're like, listen, I get it. She's technically big, right? She feels big for this weight class, and she is a powerful striker, but she can't wrestle for shit. And how many people is she actually going to submit off of her back? Problem is, she's not necessarily fighting somebody that's going to take her down. She's not fighting Jasmine Jasudavicius. She's not fighting Teresa Bleda. She's fighting Carli Judice, who's going to look to strike with her and stay in her face with volume. I think Carli can move forward, have the volume, stay in Gabriella's face, back Gabriella up, but Gabriella's going to land the bigger, more powerful strikes. It'll get Carli slowing down. It'll get Carli to back up. Gabriella is going to be the pick, but this is a razor-thin fight that should be 50-50. And after last week, where all 3 underdog women won, I would be very cautious before I spent money on this fight. What do you think, Chicky boy?
Yeah, Carli is a girl that kind of cost me a lot of money on that Contender Series fight because everyone in the chat, I do these Contender Series streams, and I don't know anything about any fighters. I rely on the chat to tell me this and that about who's going to be, and everyone's like, oh my God, Carli's going to roll this girl. She's a great striker. She's got these first-round finishes, and then she came in, and she was really put to the test by that other chick, Ernesto. I mean, the volume that Ernesto was throwing was wild. But what that told me about Carli is a couple things. One is she probably wasn't as good as people thought, but another is, I mean, that young in your career, and you've only had first-round finishes to go tit for tat for 3 fucking rounds and not back up and really kind of push the pressure and fight back. It showed the toughness that she can bring, and she's a young girl. She's going to be learning fast. I believe in this fight she is going to be competitive, but this probably is a fight that is tailor-made for Gabriella. She's the more experienced striker. She's probably the cleaner striker with more power, and she's finally fighting somebody that isn't going to be diving for her legs every 3 or 4 minutes. So this should be a Gabriella play. I think Carli could be there, maybe to be able to steal a round or something like that, but I'm going Gabriella.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in that same boat. And it does suck because Carli has that just forward, super busy, stay-in-your-face style. And that could work against another striker, but I think Gabriella, too technical, hits too hard. That's the fight she wants. She hasn't gotten that fight yet. She was brought into the UFC as a striker, and she just fought 2 women that just took her down whenever they wanted to. And now she's finally going to get a matchup that she wants against somebody that only has 4 professional fights.
Yeah, it's on the Gabriella side too. It was good that she had those fights and also didn't give up. Because how many times we've seen these big, especially these big female Brazilian strikers that they get taken down and they're just like, ugh, like over it, and they get finished off the rip or whatever like that. So she hung tough. I mean, she never gave up, didn't get finished. So this should be a tailor-made fight for her.
Absolutely, I completely agree. But I'm not spending $9,000 in DraftKings. That's absurd. We have some of the weirdest pricing in DraftKings this week. We have some people that should be very clear expensive favorites, and then we have Gabriella Fernandes Only minus 161 on the betting odds, but $9,000 for DraftKings fantasy salary. You think she's worth that $9,000?
Probably not.
The over 2.5 is expensive. Like, I don't understand how she'll get to that 9,000. She's not a wrestler by any means, so she's not going to score those points. This fight is expected to go the distance. $9,000 is an absurd price point. And luckily for you, we break down all of those salaries. And we have an optimizer that will build DraftKings lineups for you. We will give you the information that you need. Not only the picks, not only the bets, not only the artificial intelligence, but everything that you need heading into a fight week. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member, and you can unlock all of it for only $10 an entire month. And that will include UFC 303 as well as UFC Saudi Arabia next week. We have this absolute muppet saying, you want to bet Angelo picks a favorite in the next one? And then he says, he's going to praise how good the underdog is and then choose a favorite. Hey, Dick Lick, I picked 5 underdogs on this card. 5 underdogs on this card. And also, two cards ago, every favorite won except one. Alex Morono was the only dumb asshole who didn't win as a favorite.
Oh, and that's one of the weeks I got trashed for fucking lock of the week. People are like, what a horrible pick. It's like...
Who is it? Yeah, you weren't going to pick friggin'
Nico. Like, what the fuck?
Nico Chinny Price.
Horrible pick. Okay.
People love underdogs, and I get it. The plus next to the money and like that payout. I totally get it. I get it. But sometimes underdogs don't win. They're not supposed to win. And that card was a perfect example. UFC 302 was a perfect example. One single underdog, 13 fights, one underdog won.
Well, technically, it was Kopylov closed as a dog, but
he wasn't 99% of the week though. But yes,
right. And I would have picked if he was an underdog on Sunday, he probably would have been a lock of the week, but he wasn't. And that's when I started doing the videos and stuff. So
he didn't
kind of handcuff sometimes, guys.
Yeah, I mean it is funny because you have pigeonholed is like an odd word, but you are if you did a lock of the week video and you did it literally, and it was a favorite, you'd get fucking annihilated. People would rip you to shreds for doing that. So you have to pick a dog, and then sometimes dogs do what dogs do. You know your 2024 record for lock of the week is like phenomenal. The ROI on lock of the week in 2024 is like some astronomical number right now. It's crazy.
Nobody gives a shit.
That's what have you done for me lately?